Okay, Steve,
Take
thank you
off.
for your time. Would you like to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name is Steve Acuff, and I am a lecturer and health counselor. I lecture about healthy food, how we can use food for better health, and explain to people what healthy food actually is. There's a lot of confusion about that, so I spend a lot of time telling people what really works and what doesn't, what's theory and what is practical.
Okay, and you actually do that in a number of countries and
That's right.
languages. Yeah?
That's right, yes, in different countries, and I lecture in different languages. Even though I'm from the U.S., I don't do much in the U.S. It's more Europe, and then I spend half the year in Australia, where I'm actually writing a book as my major activity now, and writing a book about food and health with a lot of recipes to show people how it goes. I hope by next year I have that book done so that we can get that out and get more people into it.
Do you want to give it a bit of a plug? Have you come up with a title for your book?
Well, I've still been thinking about that. Actually, it's I've got the German title I've already come up with, because German is a very expressive language and it's easy to come up with it, but English is still a bit of a problem. So I'm still going for it, but I will announce that over my website, which is stevenacuff.com, stevenacuff.com.
Excellent. All right. Make sure people check that out and get educated on health. So let's discuss the perception of health. I think in the West, or in America and Australia, is more about how we look rather than how the body is functioning and how the body feels. So what is real health?
Health is a state of balance, basically. It's homeostasis, as it's sometimes called. The body likes to be in this balance. So if the temperature gets cooler, the body has ways of heating the body. If it's getting too hot, it cools it down with sweat. It likes to keep a certain pH balance, the acid-alkaline of our body fluids, which is very important. Our blood sugar is kept in balance. And when all of these things are kept in balance, that's really what health is. And it just goes on its own. The body, your heart beats, everything is spontaneous and very much just at our very basic level. And the problem today is that people have lost that connection to basic health, and they need to spend more time dealing with it, because if we go back to the time before the Second World War, all food was organic at that time. There was nothing else, and there was less need of specific information or education about how to eat healthy food. But as the time has gone by, we've had chemical additives, pesticides, highly refined foods, and today we're in the state where we really do need to understand that, because it's costing the world its health.
And now we're paying a lot more for organic food, ironically.
That's right.
So what are our real concerns regarding health and diet, the way we eat every day?
Well, the biggest concerns are that people have lost the appreciation of good food. It just has to go fast, is what it comes down to. Fast, easy, quick things. And this appreciation of good food is lost. Some of the appreciation of really well-cooked, balanced food. And so we see with children, for example, that they really just prefer junk food.
Yes.
And so I talk to a lot of parents who are very desperate, trying to find a way to get their children to eat healthy food. It has also the factor that if we go back a couple of generations, children did what their parents said, and that was the end of the discussion. But today, everything has to be discussed and agreed on. And in the old days, the children just wouldn't get anything to eat if they refused to eat. But parents don't do that anymore. So we have a whole generation growing up, and they're ill, and they're getting worse. So we have some very pessimistic expressions about where things are going. For example, we have today in the U.S., with Australia just behind, about 8% of the population is diabetic. And by 2050, which is not that long when you think of how quickly time goes, in 2050, it's estimated that 35% of the U.S. population will be diabetic. And we know that when that many people are ill, and then we're not even talking about cancer and other illnesses, just diabetes, that a society can't survive. The costs are too much; they can't be carried. No insurance system can carry that kind of people, sick people. And so we're basically faced with a threat to our very existence. And I found it quite interesting a couple of days ago. One of the top American generals in the U.S. Army said that there are so many overweight and weak, sick people today, young people, that he sees the day coming when there won't be enough able-bodied men to set up an army. He said we won't be able to defend ourselves, and he called for a government program to stop the junk food wave, because he correctly identified that as a threat to national security. So we get these bits and pieces coming through the news, and if we step back and look at the whole picture, we see this is a very dangerous situation and quite unique in human history. So those are really the dangers, is getting people to actively seek out good food and not just be satisfied with junk food. Now, I find it very interesting that when the financial crisis began, the stocks of McDonald's started going out of sight, because the speculation was now people are going to be poor, so there'll be less visits to an Italian restaurant or somewhere where you can get like a quality meal, and people are going to be going for the cheapest food just to be satisfied. Of course, this is pretty depressing to think that as people lose money, that kind of food, fast food, will be the future.